Happy people, happy dog. Okay, there's a bandage on the guy's foot, but he's convalescing with his best buddy. That's a cute picture. We are promoting, that is, Abbott Laboratories is promoting one of their products here. It's called Uvin, and it says right there that it's from the makers of Ensure. I feel better already. Ensure. Um, they're saying, suggesting 2 servings per day. And this Uvin would have several different flavors. It's a little blurry. I'll read the bottom part. 2 per day, clinically shown to support wound healing. Oh, wonderful! By enhancing collagen formation in as little as 2 weeks. Can't quite see the reference symbol there. Maybe it's a number, but maybe it's referring to some footnote. Okay. I like footnotes. I like to read footnotes. And this sounds wonderful because we all need better collagen, don't we, to have skin and connecting tissue. It sounds great. And wound healing, who would object to wound healing? So, so far so good, it seems. They want to promote it with coupons and make their brand look good in your eyes, friendly and nutritious, and that's great. I'm happy for Abbott that they have a marketing team that makes things look this good. Really, I really do. I just have some suggestions for Abbott Laboratories, and let's go through here and critique a couple of problematic things in my eyes. Love the marketing, love the graphics. I'd like to do some of my own like that. In fact, I have. Let's look at this sheet. This is getting into, let's look at the back here. This is giving general advice on nutrition, apparently. Is it a good idea to kind of mix green, yellow, and red? Yes, because I've done the studies and there's all kind of great stuff in yellow vegetables and red and green too. Purple, white, my goodness, ellagic acid, there's all kind of great stuff in there that I've done studies on. We should choose foods high in protein and zinc. Okay, super. It all looks great, and I'm all for it, really, in general. Here they're touting vitamin C and E and B12. Turns out vitamin C and vitamin E are not as strong as you might think. I've studied those for years. Uvin has been clinically shown to support wound healing by enhancing collagen formation in as little as 2 weeks. I like that kind of thing. There's the footnotes 1 and 5 right there, and a star. Okay. I've got health products I promote that I say similar things. Has been clinically shown to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 14 days or 30 days, whatever. And so I'm very familiar with these kind of statements. We just need to back them up and look at other things. As far as I know, this statement is true. I have no problem. It's a wonderful thing to enhance collagen formation. It really is. However, there's some problematic ingredients I'm going to show you that I hope Abbott Labs and Uvin and Ensure can all agree. Let's swap out those problematic ingredients. So I'm not worried about the amino acids. These are generally good ones. And amino acids build proteins. Some proteins are collagen, some are this HMB. Unfortunately, you can't see the little definition of HMB, so I have it up ready to go. And HMB is HMB beta hydroxy beta methyl butyrate. Sounds good. Is a natural compound from the amino acid leucine used in supplement reduced muscle breakdown. Okay, sounds great. Give me a double helping of that. So all good things here. I have no objection with these items. It's the hidden items they're not promoting, that they're not bragging about, that I'm concerned about. I like the graphics. I'm glad it's available in all these stores. I really do. I really do. And I can get it on Amazon and abbottstore.com and uven.com. Okay, great. I just want to suggest that they swap out a couple of ingredients, so we'll get to that. And in the hospital, they have these lovely packets. Save $20. Order now. Drink 2 per day. Right, because it's clinically shown to support wound healing. Okay, great. And we all need wound healing from time to time. I sell products that are wound healing in the sense, I should say, the FDA would want me to say the aloe vera products support the health of skin and wounds. In fact, I am using some aloe vera on my scab on my knee right here. And this is several days in and it's looking better. So I've got my own little wound healing regimen and products that I sell. Dr. Ben Carson benefited from that series of things. That's a whole nother story. I love the graphics. This is the kind of graphics I like to make myself. They're colorful, they're engaging, and they highlight some of the good stuff in the drink, right? Again, amino acid arginine, amino acid glutamine, HMB, sounds great. We just read the definition. Collagen, peptide, micronutrients. What? Where's the rest of it? Where's the fine print? What about the other ingredients? Okay, let's look. Uven orange. Maybe this is one flavor. And they're highlighting again these amino acids. Hey, I've been taking arginine and glutamine for years. You can actually take L-glutamine before a test, and your brain will feed, and you'll probably do better because it feeds the brain. HMB, blah blah blah, a lot of good stuff. Micronutrients, okay, that's kind of a collective word, all important in wound healing. Sounds good. Here's even study references. I love it, love it, love it. You can look up the scientific references. I don't think they're going to tout references to the product that's hiding in here that I'm going to talk about, and I hope they'll remove it. Going on, let's get to some of the ingredients. I believe this came from the same page as that last page. Maybe this is page 2, and they're somehow this was in the packet I received at this hospital, and they're in good faith. We're just giving me good information to kind of consider different flavors, and that's fine. You know, on the surface, we want options, and if there's several flavors, hey, sign me up. I like a variety of flavors. What I want to draw your attention to is a couple of things. Again, I'm good with the L-arginine, good with the L-glutamine. Protein, collagen, I sell some of that myself. Carbohydrate, big question mark. Is that complex carbs or is that simple carbs? Is that starch? What is that? So I would ask for more information about the 7 grams of carbohydrates. And then we have 2 grams of total sugars. Okay, that's good to be honest about it. And let's look at that. Added sugars, 2 grams of added sugars. If you're diabetic, do you need more or less sugar in your life? And these sugars are typically the food sugars that they normally count. Sucrose, glucose, and some of those, okay? When they use the word sugar, that's generally kind of what they mean. I think sucrose is probably likely here, although it could be maltodextrose, it could be several of the other ones. But why do I need 2 grams of added sugar in my life? I've already got 7 grams of carbohydrates of who knows what type, simple, medium, complex, I don't know, it doesn't say. Okay, let's go on down. Other ingredients, amino acid, citric acid, wonderful, good stuff. Hydrolyzed beef collagen, there's a little controversy on the hydrolyzed process. Is it really natural and is it the best form? I don't know. There's the word sugar in the upper right corner. Okay, we assume that may be sucrose, but I'm not sure. Calcium beta, hydroxy beta, methyl butyrate. That's that fancy one we looked up. All right, no problem with that. Natural and artificial flavor. Yeah, artificial. That's a nice broad term, isn't it? Calcium beta, hydroxy beta. Okay, we covered that line. Less than 2% of the following: ascorbic acid, that's basically vitamin C. Dextrolivo alpha tocopherol acetate is a form of vitamin E, which you'll find is not very potent, not very strong in our world. And this DL form is indicating synthetically made. If it's dextrin and livo together, they don't bother, after they synthesize the vitamin E, they don't bother splitting out the dextrin. And the dextrin is generally considered the more natural form. And the alpha is just one set. You can have alpha, beta, gamma. You can have mixed tocopherols. In fact, I take another type of vitamin E called tocotrienols from the annatto plant in one of my products. All right, moving along. Zinc sulfate, I'm okay with that. Here we go, sucralose. I'm a mixed bag on sucralose. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's a sugar alcohol, I believe, that some diabetics have, been okay with, but it can be problematic. That's not the worst thing. Let's zoom in right here. Acesulfame potassium. That's the one I object to right there. Alrighty. Why do we need acesulfame potassium in this supposedly healthy drink? And of course you got colors. I'm going to get started on the yellow number 6. I don't know if that's a good one or a bad one. I trust Secretary Kennedy is kind of looking into that these days on the food coloring. Acesulfame potassium. Let's kind of look at that a minute. Acesulfame potassium, because I've seen it come up in a lot of foods, and I wondered, is it good or bad? And what does the National Institutes of Health website have to say about this? This is where I do a lot of my research. Someone said it's the best use of government money ever. Okay, I think so. If it's honest, if people are honest when they submit the data, then yes. There's the spelling. A little blurry, don't know why. So anyway, you can go to pubmed.gov and it will resolve the URL website to this here, pubmed.ncbi.nlm.nih, National Institutes of Health.gov. And then you can see the search term is incorporated into the web address up there. And this is the search term in this case, acesulfame potassium. I'm not adding any positive or negative sentiment around this term. I just want to get the straight skinny. Is it good or bad? I want to know a little more about it. So I go to pubmed.gov. They have a section called pubchem.gov that tells you all about the exact chemical molecule that's available. I look at that sometimes. Well, let's start looking at some of these abstract titles, and it's not fair to focus on the top 2 only. We'll scroll down and try to get a sample. But anyway, bitter truth about artificial sweeteners, a critical review of the ecotoxicity of sucralose, acesulfame, saccharin, and cyclamate. That sounds juicy. There's that word, acesulfame, and I'm going to hit Control F to help kind of highlight that word, acesulfame. As we look further down the page, this will be highlighted. And you see it in yellow now. In search result 1, citation of that article or study. Let's move on down, looking at study number 2. Beyond Sweetness, a review of the health and safety of acesulfame potassium. K means potassium. So, I don't know if that's a positive or negative thing. Beyond Sweetness. This one above seems to have a negative sentiment. Bitter truth. Okay, that doesn't sound good. But we can dig into these studies and learn more about this. I highly recommend you do so. Because why do we need this in a drink that's touted as healthy and wound healing if there's a better alternative? And I believe there is. I might suggest stevia. I know some people have trouble digesting stevia, so that may not be the very best. I like monk fruit extract, but it often comes with erythritol. And erythritol used to be touted as wonderful because it kills bacteria, and let's feed it to children in their lollipops because it'll help control their cavities. Well, sounds good. And then they did some more studies and they found out that some people's heart rate is affected, their heart health is affected by erythritol. So I just threw away the bag. I had been eating a monk fruit with erythritol, and I'm going to try to not eat erythritol in the future, okay? Because there's studies saying it's not good for your heart. Well, I could probably get away with it, but I don't want to tempt. I don't want to set a habit of eating something that's not good all my life. Article 4: effects of artificial sweeteners on musculoskeletal system. Okay, I know a lot about that because it's coming to me. I know something about this because I have a product that helps restore some of these, helps support the health of some of these problematic areas. Okay, and I'm jumping ahead. I'm going to skip on down and let's go look at the next one. Well, let's see what it said right there. Results of 15 studies covering aspartame, acesulfame, potassium, sucralose, and saccharin. I am shocked to see that saccharin is still around. Oh my gosh. It's in the Eden nursing home, and I've asked them to remove it. It's in Abilene. It's everywhere in the West. It's not in Houston so much, because in Houston we got knowledge back in the 80s that saccharin may be something we want to avoid. I think studies in California said that saccharin apparently induced cancer in rats, so I don't eat saccharin. But you know, let's be safe, people. Let's do some studies on this. Let's double check our acesulfame potassium, and if it's problematic, let's ask Abbott Laboratories and Ensure and UVen to swap that out for something better, okay? I'm not here to try to sue anybody. I just want to raise awareness and help nurses and doctors fulfill their Hippocratic oath, right? Hippocratic oath says, first, do no harm. And if we're including things in our food that may be increasing diabetes, which I've heard acesulfame potassium might do, it might also hurt our gut health. Let's investigate, okay? And if needed, let's get rid of that stuff and put something better in there. Maybe stevia or monk fruit or something better, maltodextrose. Come on, there's many choices. Why this one? You know, is it cheap? Why? Is it cost effective? Does it have a certain flavor profile? I don't care. I don't want it in my body, I think, from what I read so far. There are many studies. If we go to the top and look at the search results, oh, it gives you like a number on this term. If we search for acesulfame potassium, it's showing on their website 397 results, okay? And that's how this works. PubMed.gov is a repository of hopefully high quality studies. If peer-reviewed studies are on here, those are maybe the most trusted type of studies. And then there are further reviews and summaries and meta-analysis. We sometimes see one article saying, we looked at 1,000 studies done in the past 100 years, and we compiled the average, or you know what I mean, some meta studies where they're sort of averaging data over many studies. Those can be helpful. It can help point to areas of interest for further investigation and study. Anyhow, I'm going to ask formally, I'm asking formally that UVen remove this acesulfame potassium from their ingredients. Apparently it's in all the flavors. I don't know, but why we got to tout that something's healthy if there's a questionable ingredient in it? And I'm not the biggest fan of sucralose either. That's problematic in some people. Let's replace the sucralose also, and guess what else? Let's replace the 2 grams of added sugar. Unless there's an extremely great reason for it, let's replace the 2 grams of added sugar, please. I know I've been going through diabetes last year and finding ways to avoid further health problems. 2 grams of added sugar can be very bad for some people. Okay, they're borderline diabetic, that could throw them over the edge perhaps, I don't know, but I've been through it myself. So I love you guys. I love the graphics. I love the idea of wound healing. I love some of the ingredients. I wish you've been the best. I just hope they'll swap out 3 things, okay? That's where I'm coming from. Good going.